بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله النبي الكريم أما بعد فيا عباد الله يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. This surah is Makki and it has 5 verses. The background of this surah, number 1, this is a story about the people of the elephant. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was born in this year too. In the Arabic language we say Aam Fil, the year of the elephants. Before the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Arabs used to fight all the time. They were very violent, they were very aggressive. However, no one would bother the Quraish. No one would bother the Quraysh. Why? Because the people of Quraysh were the caretakers of the Kaaba. And the people didn't want to harm the idols around the Kaaba. Because all the Arabs used to worship the idols, and the idol's home was the Kaaba. So the Quraysh were already respected. They were already given a lot of honor. The Kaaba became the main economic center of Arabia. People would travel from all over the world, from all over Arabia, just to trade in Mecca. And obviously people would come there yearly for Hajj. And obviously Hajj was a good time to improve the economy. Naturally, when someone is the leader of something, especially economically speaking, people get jealous. So there was a leader of Yemen. He was a general and his name was Abraham. And he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that everyone was going towards the Kaaba. So what he wanted to do, he built a nice and a beautiful church. Beautified it, had jewelry, pearls, rubies, and made it look really good. And he was hoping to make this church or this place of worship the place that people would now come yearly. He wanted the people to stop going to the Kaaba and come to his Kaaba. Long story short, it is said that somebody went there, urinated it, mocked him, made fun of him, and he didn't get what he wanted. So he came to a conclusion that the only way that I can get people to come towards Yemen is by destroying the Kaaba. So what did he do? He took an army of elephants, about 10 to 12 elephants, and the leader of the elephants, his name was Mahmud. The leader of the elephants, his name was Mahmud. So on the way there, people tried to stop him. What are you doing? Why are you attacking the Kaaba? The Lord of Kaaba, Allah is the Lord of the Kaaba. Why are you attacking the Kaaba? Then he didn't know the way to go to the Kaaba. So he would raid some caravans, he would raid some people, and finally he found a guide, and the guide said, okay, fine, I'll take you to the Kaaba. So Abraham made a lot of plans. First, he wanted to turn the attention from the Kaaba away by building his own so-called Kaaba. Then he's now headed towards Mecca. He's headed towards Mecca with an army of elephants, but he doesn't know the way. And everyone tries to tell him, don't do it. And then he kills them and destroys them. Then finally, he was about to kill someone else, but that person said, I'll be your guide to help you get to the Kaaba. So he finally reaches the Kaaba. And the leader of the Quraysh at that time is a person by the name of Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the leader of the Quraysh, the grandfather of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, goes to Abraham. And Abdul Muttalib, he visited Abraham, and he came to Abraham and he said that you took my camels, you took some of my animals, I want those animals back. So Abraha is shocked. This leader, he came to me not to talk to me, convince me to not destroy the Kaaba, but he came to me to talk to me about his camels. Does he not care about the Kaaba? So Abraha was amazed. Why is he talking to me about his camels? So Abdul Muttalib responded. He said, the owner of the camels, I'm the owner of the camels. It's my responsibility to protect and take care of the camels. You stole my camels. And the Kaaba belongs to Allah. Wa Rabbul Kaaba, the Lord of the Kaaba will protect the Kaaba. I'm not worried about the Kaaba. The Kaaba has its own Lord. The Lord of the Kaaba, wa Rabbul Kaaba, the Kaaba's Lord will take care of the Kaaba. I want to take care of my animals. So Abraha was shocked, stunned. He said, look, I really admire your leadership. Here, you can take your camels back. So Abdul Muttalib, he hangs on to the multazim, he hangs on to the door, and he makes a long dua, wa Rabbul Kaaba, the Lord of the Kaaba, this is your home, you protect it, etc. And he told the people of the Quraysh, we can't fight this army of Abraha, so let's go to the mountains and let's just watch what happens to the Kaaba. Let's watch what happens next day. And this surah is covering this. Now, what is our lesson? This is not a history lesson. This is not history class. I'm not trying to teach you something historical. As a matter of fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't even mention the story in detail the way I just did. What is our lesson? The people of Quraysh are very weak. They cannot fight the army, so they're not standing in front of the army and fighting. What are they doing though? They're making dua. After that, they're just watching. Oh Allah, we have made dua. We know we can't do nothing. It's in your hands. We right now, Muslims, are in a similar situation. كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. How many times a smaller group overpowered a larger group? What did Abdul Muttalib do? He made dua on the Kaaba and then he said, Ya Allah, this is your house, you protect it. But he made dua. Not a Muslim at that. There's no Muslims. Islam didn't even reach there yet. But he's making dua. Even the Makkans and the Quraysh knew that the leader, even though they worship idols, they knew that the leader of the idols was named Allah. The leader of all of the gods is Allah. So they knew that the owner and the leader and the God of the Kaaba is Allah. So they still called him by Allah. Obviously they worship other idols, but the leader of the Kaaba is Allah. So they made dua to Allah. This is a lesson for us. When the media is against us, the superpowers are against us, no one's on our side, no one's supporting us, we're being harassed, ridiculed, mocked, embarrassed, humiliated, we're being stoned by words. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to return to dua. Anytime the Muslims had their back against the wall, and the asbab of this dunya, the means of this dunya showed us that we would not be successful. Like in the battle of Badr, where it's 313 against 1,000 non-Muslims and 313 Muslims who are not equipped nor are they prepared for battle. They don't have swords, they really just have the knives that they use to really protect themselves. They're not ready for a war. They're not ready for a battle where there's 1,000 strong soldiers ready. When the Muslims back are against the wall, we do not have to use our asbab and our means of this dunya. What do we need to do? We need to resort to dua. Abdul Muttalib, what did he do? He made dua. When the Prophet ﷺ and the Battle of Badr, what did he do? He ﷺ made dua. This ummah doesn't make dua. We argue, should you raise your hands, should you wipe your faces? That's bid'ah, this is bid'ah. SubhanAllah, make dua, ya habibi. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, without a doubt, at times when he made dua, he raised his hands and wiped his face. Did he do it every time or not? Wallahu alam. But he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did it. We're arguing about how to do dua, but we don't argue about are we making dua or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully describes the story, and you really have to understand the Arabic language and the tafseer to really truly understand how powerful this surah is. And how this surah was revealed to console Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he is suffering in Quraish, when he is suffering in Makkah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Alam tara, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, did you not see? How could the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam see? He wasn't even born. He was born in that year. How did he see it? In the Arabic language, when tara comes, when you see comes, it comes in the meaning of yaqeen and certainty. Meaning, oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this story has been narrated to you to such an extent it is as if you see it. Alam tara, did you not see it? In other words, have you not understood it at a level of certainty? Kayfa, how Allah fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. How Allah dealt with the people of the elephant. With the elephant's people is literally how you're supposed to do translation. Meaning, if I say, this is my iPad, I say Samir's iPad. Meaning, I don't belong to the iPad belongs to me. Unlike the iPad Samir's iPad. Allah addresses the people of the elephant in the Quran as the elephant's people, not the people's elephant. Allah is humiliating them. He's disgracing them. Allah is not saying the people, the elephant. Allah is saying the elephant's people. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Allah is not even going to give the honor to Abraha and those humans. Allah is giving honor to the elephants. Allah used in this surah, in this verse, Alam tara kayfa fa'ala. Fa'ala means to do an action. In the Quran, we always read, and we've always been told, have iman and do righteous deeds. Inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Wa amila. Amila also means to do an action. But amila means to do an action that is thought out. I have an intention, I want to do this action, amila. That's why we say a'mal as-salih, or innamal a'malu bin-niyat. But fa'ala also means to do an action. Matter of fact, when we learn the Arabic language, we're supposed to learn our gardans and our charts, and we say fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'ala, etc. That's how we learn Arabic. Fa'ala, we make fa'ala come to our tongue. So fa'ala is a very common verb. So alam tara kayfa fa'ala. Why did Allah use fa'ala and now amila? Fa'ala means to do something without preparation. I'm just going to wing it. So Allah is saying, I dealt with the people of the elephant without any preparation. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you're worried about the Meccans, you're worried about the Quraish. Do you not know how I dealt with the people of the elephant? Fa'ala, I just did it. I didn't have to plan, plot, prepare. No. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. So Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ how he dealt with them, but also he's reminding the Quraysh of the favors he has upon them. Look how beautiful this surah is. This surah is revealed to console Nabi ﷺ, but it's also indirectly reminding the kuffar and the non-Muslims and the disbelievers about the favors of Allah upon him. Oh Quraysh, I saved you too. You are the people that I saved. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل. Kaydahum means to make an evil plot. So Abraha, he made a plot. What was his first plot? He made a plan that I'm going to build a new Kaaba and I want the people to come to me. He made another plan to destroy everyone until he gets to the Kaaba. He hired this guide. He got this guide and to reach the Kaaba. He reaches the Kaaba. He intends to destroy the Kaaba. So he made one plan. He made another plan. He made another plan. He made another plan. Allah is saying, Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Tadlil from غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Dallin means to be misguided. Tadlil is coming from that same verb. But tadlil means to be misguided over and over and over and over again. So Allah is telling the Muslims, Allah is telling Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah is telling the Quraysh about his favor. Allah is telling us what? That Abraham made plans after plans after plans and after plans, and I made all of them fail. He made one plan, I made it fail. And he made another plan, I made it fail again. He made another plan, I made all of his plans fail. So Allah is saying the kuffar will plan, and they will keep planning, and they will keep planning. And Allah is saying, I will make every single one of them fail. So, O Muhammad, let the kuffar prepare. Let the kuffar make these plans and these plots. Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Didn't you see how I made all of them fail? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرَ الْأَبَابِيلَ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. And I sent upon them طَيْرَ الْأَبَابِيلَ, flocks and groups of birds. تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. They pelted them with stones of baked clay. You know, if you ever, go to the sand, or go to where there's mud or dirt, and it gets a little bit water on it, and you just pick it up, and it just goes through your fingers. Allah is saying these pebbles were so light in the claws of the beaks, and the beak, one in the beak and two on the claw, one in each claw. Allah is saying they were so light that if they were mixed with water, they would dissolve. What is Allah telling us? I destroyed them with something weak. If I were to take it and throw it at you, it would just hit you and just dissolve. It would just become dirt again. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. It's made from sijil. Sijil, baked clay, like any very light clay that can dissolve so easily. And they had three. Each bird had three. And each pebble had its exact target. Nowadays we have this GPS, and you lock the missile and it's not going to miss. Allah did that 1400 years ago. We didn't advance in technology. What are you saying? We didn't advance in technology. We haven't created something like this yet, where you could take something so light yet so powerful. It is said that when one of the pebbles, and each target, each pebble hit its exact target, it didn't miss. And it is said when it hit Abraha, it was so powerful, his entire body became disfigured. And Allah kept him alive till he reached Yemen. He reached back home. As soon as he reached home, Allah killed him, and his death took place. The Mu'arrikhin, the historians say that the reason Allah made this happen is because Allah wanted the people of Yemen to know, don't send another army, or this is what's going to happen to you. So Allah is saying, oh Muhammad, I easily destroyed them. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَعْكُولٍ. And I made them like chewed up straw. Ma'kul, to be something that you ate, you already chewed on. Us means straw. When you see this hay and stuff, when you go to the farms area, or you see hay in front of your house, or you see the straws, chewed up straw. And they look disgusting. Allah destroyed them and completely destroyed them and disfigured their body with such a pebble that if it were to be thrown at you, it would dissolve and become dirt again. This is how Allah handled them. So this surah was revealed to console Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and in return it is to console us too. The surah reminds us of Allah's qudrat, His power. He is in control of something, and everything. If He wills something, it will occur. The army was destroyed. The army brought such a large, powerful army that the Quraish had never seen an elephant. The Quraish had never seen an elephant. It was so powerful. At that time, elephants were very big, very strong. We hadn't seen anything as tall or big as that. Allah is saying, I destroyed that army, O Muhammad, without any preparation. Do you think I won't protect you? And Allah is talking to us. O Muslims, do you think Allah won't protect us? What do we have to do? All we have to do is make dua. We don't have to do anything else. If we all sincerely as an ummah made dua, that would be enough. And we wouldn't need to do anything else. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could protect us just through dua. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. This surah is Makki and has 4 verses. The previous surah is regarding one blessing that Allah had granted the Quraysh, and that is to protect them. Now you can imagine how much honor and izzat and respect and dignity of the Quraysh has increased after Allah protected them. Now all of the Arabs, they now respect the Quraysh even more than they already did. Oh man, Allah protected them. We don't want to mess with Quraysh anymore. So Allah mentioned one blessing in Surah Al-Fil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to emphasize on more blessings that He did for the people of Quraysh. Generally, if you read Surah Al-Fil in the first rakat, you should read Surah Al-Quraysh in the second rakat, because they're all connected. Our Hadrat Maulana Ibrahim Memon Sahib, he says that in these last surahs, You should read the surahs, if you read Wad-Duha, read Alam Nashra. If you read Alam Tara, then read Suratul Fil. You read Ara'ayta alladhi, read Inna A'tayna. Don't skip a surah. Don't skip one or two surah, just read the surah right after. But you don't have to. But according to some of the fuqaha, if the surah that is in the middle, if it has less than 6 verses, then you shouldn't skip it. You should read that surah. Okay? Allahu Alam. That's not that strict. But ideally, because the surahs are connected. Surah Al-Fil and Surah Al-Quraish are pretty connected. So Allah is mentioning more favors to the Quraysh in this surah. In other words, you need to express your gratitude to Allah for all of these favors that He gave you. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, for the accustomed security of the Quraysh. Meaning the Quraysh were known to live in aman and security. They were always known to be safe and secure. They never really had problems. No one attacked them, killing didn't really take place there, murder didn't take place there, stealing didn't take place there. A lot of stuff in Quraysh didn't take place. Yani in the Meccan area where the Kaaba is, that area was in Aman. Till this day it's in Aman. Meaning the people of Makkah and Medina don't even know what lack of security is. Both cities are so peaceful. Very rarely do you see the Kaaba ever attacked. The Kaaba will be destroyed before the Day of Judgment. It's from amongst the signs of Qiyamah that the Kaaba will be destroyed. That's besides the point right now. But in general, the people of Makkah and Medina, they live in Aman. Allah is reminding them that. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, you are living in a custom security granted by me. Yani Allah granted you that protection. Ilaf means to be accustomed or used to something. This is your habit. The Quraysh were used to being safe and secure. The lam before ilaf is actually for more emphasis. In other words, we should be amazed how Allah has kept the Quraysh safe. It is only through Allah's bounty that the Quraysh were able to have this security. It is through the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it were not for Allah, they wouldn't have anything. Allah protected them from the army of the elephant as part of their accustomed security. The other tribes respected the Quraysh and would not harm them because they were the caretakers of the Kaaba. Who gave them that respect? Allah. تُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ. Allah grants honor, izzat, dignity, respect to whomsoever He wants. But He also disgraces and humiliates whosoever He wants. So, O Quraysh, don't forget this security you're living in, I gave it to you. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. They were so honored that when they used to travel in the winter to Yemen, when the caravan used to go to Yemen in the winter, and to Syria and Syria, and meaning Syria or Damascus in winter, in summer, Allah granted them security then too. Yani when Syria or Damascus heard that a caravan was coming from Mecca, they granted them security. Don't mess with the Meccans. You know how they say don't mess with Texas? At that time it was don't mess with the Meccans. When the Meccans came to your town, you gave them full respect and honor and you didn't mess with them. That is the kind of izzat Allah gave them. So meaning, they weren't just protected back home, they were protected everywhere they traveled. To an extent, till this day, if some of our relatives visit us from Mecca, we give them more izzat and honor. Till this day. Oh, you're from Mecca? You live in Mecca? All of a sudden, oh, the whole tone changes. Can I shake your hand? Can I hug you? You live in Mecca? You live in the Haram vicinity? Wow, what an honor. Till this day, the Meccans have this izzat. If we hear someone comes from Medina, how much izzat we give them? Oh, the Imam of Medina came. Even though his voice might not even be that beautiful, he's no different than any other Imam, but he's an Imam in Medina. You're Imam of Masjid Quba? Subhanallah. Wow, come here, I want to meet you. Because that is the honor and the izzat Allah has given Makkah and Medina. Obviously, this surah is referring to Makkah because it's a Meccan surah, but I believe it can be applied to Medina too. So year round, Allah is saying, I granted you this izzat and honor. So I granted you this izzat, this respect and honor. What should you do with this? How should you express your gratitude? فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. How do you express your gratitude? By worshipping the Lord of this house. The only reason the Quraysh were honored and respected was because they were the caretakers of the Kaaba. Makkah is just another city. Medina is just another city. But why do we respect you more? Because you're near the Kaaba. Why do we respect you more? Because you're near the Qabr of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is it. Otherwise, Makkah and Medina is just a different city. It's just another city. But the fact you're close to the Kaaba, the fact you're close to the Qabr of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam automatically gives you respect at another level. So Allah is saying, I gave you this. And you got this because of me. You got this respect because of the Kaaba, not because of you. No one cares about you. But it was my Kaaba that gave you this izzat and respect. And yet you still worship idols? They used to say Allah is the Lord of the Kaaba, not any of their idols. And actually when the Quraysh were in need, they used to make dua to Allah for help. When the army of the elephants were coming, who did they make dua to? They made dua to Allah. So they knew that everything they had was because of the Kaaba, and they also knew the Lord of the Kaaba was Allah. So Allah is saying, you already know everything, so just worship me, express your gratitude to me. These idols are nothing. When you are in dire need, you turn to me, not to them. So worship the Lord of this house, الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ, who has fed them against hunger and made them secure against fear. Allah kept them from starving. In other words, Makkah was a barren desert. No crops, no fruits could really grow in Makkah. Who allowed it to grow? With the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. The fruits of winter, you can find them in summer in Makkah. The fruits of summer, you can find them in winter in Makkah. Who allowed that to happen? That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is saying, I gave you so much that protected you from starvation. I granted you this security. You have absolutely no fear till this day. Anyone who goes for Umrah, anyone who goes to Makkah and Medina just to visit, every single one of them will tell you, we feel safe and secure in Makkah and Medina. Even if our money is stolen, okay. Now it doesn't happen as often, but before it used to happen when they used to pickpocket you. But when you go to Medina, there's a sukoon in Medina. There's a peace in Makkah. There's a feeling in Makkah and Medina that can only be found there. Even the air in Medina is different. Even the air in Medina is different. So Allah is telling the Makkans, and indirectly the Madinins too, that I granted you all of this. All you need to do to express your gratitude is by worshipping me. So we can use this surah to remind ourselves too, all the blessings that we have, who gave it to us? Allah. Are we expressing our gratitude to Allah? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Inshallah, we'll end with this surah. In this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to describe the characteristic and attributes of the kuffar, but also more the munafiqun. And to an extent, we need to use this surah. Do any of these attributes and characteristics apply to us or not? And to use this surah to see if we're doing anything similar or not. This is a test for ourselves. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Have you seen the one who denies the final judgment? Yani the one who denies ad-deen, who denies the day that Allah will either reward us for our good deeds or punish us for our sins. Allah is asking a question. Have you seen these people? أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي. أَرَأَيْتَ means to see, and at times it also means to understand. In Urdu we say Rai. Tumhari kya rai? What's your opinion? Rai is an Arabic word too. Ra'yun. Ra'yun means to have an opinion. Ara'ita is coming from ra'yun. To have an opinion. I have it, my understanding. What is an opinion? My understanding. That is what opinion means. So ara'ita means you either see or do you understand. Meaning even if you haven't seen them, you understand them to be like this. The purpose here is not just to see the people. We are supposed to consider these people and their actions. What kind of character do the disbelievers and hypocrites have? And do we have the same characters? Do we have the same characteristics as the hypocrites and kuffar? Ad-deen means batla in Urdu. Deen, to get the result of your actions. So if you did a good deed, you get a good result. You did a bad deed, you get a bad result. فَذَلِكَ, now the first characteristic. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. That is the one who drives away the orphans. Now, the kuffar and the munafiqun, they would literally drive away the orphans. They are the worst of society. They don't have parents. They don't have a father. They're the ones that are looked down upon. Remember, Al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was an orphan. That means the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had a special place for the orphans. But they would literally drive away the orphans. Matter of fact, the Mufassirun say this verse can have three meanings. They either deprive an orphan of their rights and inheritance, meaning if they adopted an orphan. Number two, turning away any orphans who ask for any help. In other words, they show absolutely no compassion and mercy towards them. And number three, harming orphans in general, by the cursing at them or hurting them. Now, we might not deal with orphans in front of us, but when we have someone who actually comes in need, or someone comes to the masjid to collect donation, or you went to another masjid that they came to ask you a donation, or someone came from a far masjid, or poor people came to you to ask for a donation, how do you respond? Even if you don't physically respond, how do you internally feel? Okay, we don't say anything, but internally, how do we feel? When I'm around poor people, how do I feel? When I'm around people who don't dress the way I dress, how do I feel? So it's not literally driving them away, but Allah is indirectly talking about our internal too. When a poor person comes to us, when a person begs us for money, when a person asks for donation, what do we do at them? I can give you examples in my own life that I had met rich people asking them for donations when madrasa started, never really asked for donations in my life, and I had a very rich mashallah, who built so many hospitals in the UK, who spent half an hour just cursing at me. You Maulvis this, you Maulvis that, you've never done anything for deen. I built hospitals, I saved lives. Literally cursing at me. Cursing left and right? Because he's mashallah a wealthy doctor. He has his house on the man-made island in Dubai. The Jumeirah Island, ya jo bhi hai. Mashallah. Why are you cursing at me? So when a person puts himself up here, okay, I'm down here. I agree, I'm down here. When a person puts himself here, they don't feel right around these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was upset when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he did that. And a surah is revealed that we all can recite or have heard of. Abasa wa tawalla an ja'ahu al-a'ma. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when a blind person came to you, why did you turn him away? Why did the Prophet turn him away? Because the Prophet wanted to talk to the leaders, and he was trying to convince the leaders to become Muslims. And if the blind person came, the Prophet thought that maybe because of that blind person, the leaders won't pay attention to me. Abasa wa tawalla an ja'ahu al-a'ma. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, why did you frown upon the blind person who came to you? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. We need to ask ourselves, what do we do? Many of the Arab leaders at that time, they would oppress the orphans under their care. These people were leaders with money and resources. Allah had given them these blessings where they could help the orphans out. But yet they turned them away. Now one thing is not supporting. Now if I don't have money, maybe I can encourage someone else to donate. Okay. Or if I have money and I don't donate, that's one thing. You know what's worse? And unfortunately, Allah forgive all of us, but I have seen people with in our own communities. They do this part too. So one is to not donate yourself. One is to not help yourself. The other is to discourage others from doing it. وَلَا يَحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Not only did they not support the orphan, they told others not to support them. So one is to not donate yourself. It's another thing to tell someone else not to donate. So what did these kuffar do? They themselves didn't help, then they told others not to help. وَلَا يَحُدُّ. They do not encourage themselves to do that action, and they don't encourage others. They don't help the poor and the needy, and they tell others not to help the poor and needy. وَلَا يَحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. They don't even encourage others to feed the poor. So Allah only mentions 2 evil actions. And both of these first 2 sins are related to hukuk al-ibad, the rights of the slaves. Now, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Destruction and woe be to the musalleen. What type of musalleens? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who are heedless of their prayer. Wail, fawailun, wail has many meanings. Wail, according to some mufassirun, wail means a mountain in Jahannam. According to others, it means a valley in Jahannam. According to others, the people of Jahannam, Allah protect us. The people of Jahannam, when they get extremely thirsty, they will drink the pus and the rotten discharge of the inmates of Jahannam. So this wail is an area where all their pus and their discharge, they all gather in this area. So wail is that drink they will drink when they get thirsty. And others say wail means to be destruction or woe be to that thing. So the question is, who is this verse talking about? Majority of the mufassirun say this is talking about the hypocrites. In other words, they pray in public. They show off to others and make themselves look pious. However, when they are in private and no one is watching them, they never pray or do good deeds. The people might be looking at them praying, but their hearts and minds are not devoted to salah. They're just moving their actions. They're just moving their body. Other mufassirun, rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in, are not saying it's for the hypocrites. It's actually for the believers, the Muslims. What about them? The Muslims who neglect their prayers, they may have iman, but they don't have proper importance to their salah. How? Either they delay salah and don't pray it on time, or they pray it on time, but they don't fulfill those proper conditions of salah. If anybody has any of these characteristics mentioned under these verses, that they're doing it to show off, or they're neglecting, then they have a part of hypocrisy in them. May Allah protect us. The Prophet ﷺ said, this is the prayer of the hypocrite. هذا صلاة المنافق, هذا صلاة المنافق, هذا صلاة المنافق. This is the prayer of a hypocrite. This is the prayer of a hypocrite. This is the prayer of a hypocrite. What is this prayer of a hypocrite? He sits watching the sun. He's just sitting there. He's not praying. Salah time is still there. He sits watching the sun until the sun is between the 2 horns of shaitan. Meaning, salah is about to end. Salatul Isha time is about to end. Then he stands and then he pecks 4 times. The Prophet ﷺ describes his salah as pecking like a bird. He pecks 4 rakats. He doesn't even remember Allah in them except very little. That is the salah of a hypocrite. How many times do we delay salah, realize there's only 2 to 3 minutes left, and we quickly offer our prayers? They pray their salah quickly and do not pray on time. They don't even pay attention to their salah. This verse shows the second quality of disbelievers, that along with not caring for the creation, they don't fulfill their responsibilities for the Creator. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Whatever they do it to show off. Showing off, or riyah, is what we call in the Arabic language shirk al-asghar, the minor shirk. The minor means of associating partners with Allah. Because when you show off, you're not doing it for Allah, you're doing it for others. So it's a type of shirk. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they withhold simple assistance. I'll end with this inshallah. Allama Qurtubi rahmatullahi alayhi says, they withhold. They withhold what? They withhold ma'un. What's ma'un? Allama Qurtubi rahimallah, the Musannif translates it as simple assistance. So they don't even do simple assistance. Allama Qurtubi rahimallah says there can be 12 definitions of al-ma'un. The most comprehensive definition is أنه المعروف كله الذي يتعاطاه الناس فيما بينهم. All forms of assistance, all forms of helping, all forms of helping others, and charity which people normally offer each other. Can you hold the door for me? Nope, I'm going to close it. The simple assistance, the people, the munafiqun and the kuffar won't even do this level of simple assistance. They won't hold the door or just, it's only 5 cents, keep the change. They won't do the normal things that what everyone does normally, the normal assistance that everyone does. The munafiqun, the hypocrites and the kuffar won't do that. If we have any of these characteristics in us, or you know someone with this characteristic, first of all, you're not supposed to be looking at their thoughts. So only look at yourself. If you have any of these characteristics, there's no need to tell others. But at least if you feel like you have some of these within you, make an effort to remove them, inshallah. For Allah is Ghafoor, Allah is Rahim, and Allah is the one who can grant you the tawfiq to completely change your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those people who live our lives in accordance to the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah of our beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jazakum Allahu khairan wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.